Well, it's a very busy week in the ag marketplace with reports and global news headlines and pretty much everything in between. We're taking a look at the daily market summary, and I'm visiting with Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net. Kurt, what do we see going on in the grain markets today to end off this week?
Well, if you're bullish, it's kind of disappointing. We closed lower on the day and on the week. Corn down 9 to 12 cents, beans down 12, 15 cents, wheat down 20, 22 cents. Meal was mixed, bean oil a little lower in the grain complex. Just basically, there was a lot of optimism coming into the Chinese U.S. Meetings. There's estimates as maybe a surprise announcement of 40 million metric tons of beans being committed to China. But boy, that was awful optimistic. We've been virtually out of beans if that would have taken place. But the only thing I got out of it was they're still talking 25 million metric tons per year, but we'll see if that happens or not. The other part was the beef, talking about more beef going to China. But beef going to China, I have to ask, why? We've got record beef prices here in the U.S., and to move beef out of the country like crude oil is kind of crazy to me. But for the most part, the only commodity held in there was meal. We sold 155,000 tons of meal cake and soybean meal to Italy. I don't know if that's a trade-off for spaghetti or not. We'll see.
And as we look at those grain prices from throughout the week, we saw some pretty wild price movement, both up and down. So compared to the beginning of the week and then looking at today, overall, are we looking pretty close to where we were to start off the week? Are we lower? I know it's kind of a little tricky to keep track of.
No, we're looking at on the week, corn was virtually down 16 cents. The soybean market was down over 30 cents. The wheat market, Chicago, was up. But the main thing is we saw weekly reversals here on stuff. And when you get a weekly reversal down, even a key weekly reverse outside day weekly down is kind of negative. So this week's high is going to be pretty good resistance if we see some recovery. The key is just below the marketplace. The market has been in a trend. And if we can't hold these trend lines, it's probably going to generate some additional selling interest here with the commodity funds loaded up. They were over 360,000 contracts long in corn. They might want to lighten up on that position here over time if there's no real weather threats.
Then moving on over to the livestock side of the marketplace, how do cattle and hogs trade today?
Cattle can continue to hang in there. They look like they're going to roll over and they come back. Feeders bounce pretty good off their lows. They're kind of fairly priced in through here. As far as the pork side of the equation, we're butting up against the downtrend there. We just need to see this cookout featuring take place and see some of this demand come in. If you're a livestock feeder, I'd watch these grain prices. They get too carried away here in the next couple of weeks. I'd look at maybe booking some feed needs. That way you've got some coverage on. But overall, we'll see how the cutouts move at the retail level here.
And of course, as we approach Memorial Day, which is kind of the kickoff of the peak of the grilling season, do we see the consumer maybe purchasing more pork this grilling season? Has that potentially even started already to see a demand shift?
Well, they're pretty well got things processed and on its way. I wouldn't be surprised to see brats on sale, hot dogs on sale for that. But these ribeyes are still going off the shelf at these higher prices. I think the economists continue to have this meat demand wrong. A higher price is supposed to curb demand, but no, the American consumer continues to go after it. More importantly is the weather. This weather is supposed to warm up, and I think that's going to help a ton.
All right, Kurt, lots of great information today. For anybody who would like to get in touch with agmarket.net for more marketing information, how can they do that?
We're here in Normal, Illinois, 1-800-779-1515. Or let's go to agmarket.net and click on Intel. That's where the team puts together a lot of information.
All right, thanks again for the time, as always, Kurt, and we will talk to you again soon.
Have a good one.